Hello friends, I welcome you all in today's class of world mapping. As you already know that we're done with a couple of continents, that's Africa and South America. And in the previous class, we learned about the political map of North America as well. In today's class, we'll be learning about the physical features of North American continent. In the previous class, we learned about the seas. After we finished the political mapping of North America, after that we started seas. We finished the seas that are associated with North American continent, and now we'll do some other physical features of this continent, starting with the famous straits that are there in the continent of North America. This is the part of North America that includes Canada. These are the seas that you already learned about, the Beaufort Sea, the Baffin Bay and other things. You're already aware of these things. But today, first, we'll start with the straits. What is a strait? A strait is a smaller water body that is connecting two larger water bodies. So, for example, here you can see this is Arctic Ocean and then there is a Baffin Bay. These are the two large water bodies and they are connected by a small water body. This, where I marked with red, this is a smaller water body that's connecting Arctic Ocean with the Baffin Bay, and this is named as Nares. This is the first strait, that is Nares Strait, and it's connecting Arctic Ocean with Baffin Bay. Number one, that is the first thing you should learn in the strait, which two water bodies are getting connected with the help of the strait. And the second important thing that you need to know about a strait is that the two land masses that are getting separated because of the strait. Like here, I just explained you the two water bodies. Now, the two land masses. First, this is Ellesmere Island. As you know, Ellesmere Island, I already mentioned it in the previous class. And on this side, you can see Greenland. So, you should make 3 columns on your copy and then take it down. The two water bodies connected by Nares Strait, that's Arctic Ocean, and then the Baffin Bay. After that, the two land masses that are getting separated because of this strait, that is Greenland and Ellesmere Island. This is the Ellesmere Island, and then we have Greenland. So this is the first strait, that is Nares Strait. Going to the next strait, that is connecting this Baffin Bay. Baffin Bay, you already aware, this is Baffin Bay. We have learned it in the previous class. Connecting with Labrador Sea. Baffin Bay is getting connected with the Labrador Sea. See, here, these two yellow boxes. This is the Labrador Sea here, and this is the Baffin Bay. These two are getting connected by a smaller water body here. This is also a strait known as Davis Strait. What is the name of second strait? It is Davis Strait. So strait that we are discussing today is Davis Strait, connecting Labrador Sea with Baffin Bay. And now, what are the two land masses that are getting separated because of this strait? First, as you already know, this is Greenland, and on the other side you will find Baffin Island. The name of this island is Baffin Island. So, in the two straits, we learned about the two water bodies getting connected and the two land masses that are connected by the strait. Clear about this? Moving on, then the Labrador Sea is getting connected with the Hudson Bay. Here, if you see, this is Hudson Bay. This is the Hudson Bay here, and this is the Labrador Sea. Again, this is getting connected by a strait here. And the name of the strait is Hudson Strait. So, the third strait is Hudson Strait. So up until now, we have learned about 3 straits. These are very important straits. First of all, the Nares Strait, the Davis Strait, and then the Hudson Strait. Now, what are the two land masses that are getting separated by Hudson Strait? This is already mentioned that this is the Baffin Bay, This is the Baffin Bay, okay. And the Baffin Bay is getting separated from the Ongawa Peninsula. So, Hudson Strait is separating the Baffin Island from Ongawa Peninsula. These are all located near Canada. So I hope you understood about the 3 straits that I have mentioned. First was Nares, then Davis, and then Hudson. And you know the water bodies, they're getting separated. First, it will separate Arctic from Baffin Bay. Then Davis is going to separate Labrador from Hudson. And this Hudson Bay Strait is connecting Labrador with Hudson Bay. And Davis Strait is connecting Baffin Bay with Labrador. I hope you understood these 3 straits that are associated with Canada. Now, moving towards the southern part, you will find some more of the straits. First and foremost, this. This strait is connecting, here you can see Sargasso Sea with Gulf of Mexico. There is a strait that is connecting the two large water bodies, that is Gulf of Mexico with Sargasso Sea, and the name of strait is Florida Strait. Why Florida Strait? Because you will be aware that there you will find Florida. This is Florida. This is a part of America, United States of America, that is Florida, and it is separated from this. This is very important, as I told you in the previous class as well, due to the tensions, that is Cuba. This is Cuba. Okay, so Cuba and Florida are getting separated by Florida Strait, and Gulf of Mexico is connected to Sargasso Sea with the help of this strait. Clear about this? Then we'll go to one more very important strait here, that is here. Yucatan Peninsula is getting separated from Cuba by a water body. This is Yucatan Channel. It's a bit larger and deeper, so it's a channel. Yucatan Channel is the name of this water body that is here, that I am marking this area. This is Yucatan Channel that is separating Yucatan Peninsula from Cuba again and connecting Gulf of Mexico with Caribbean Sea. If you are aware of the seas and their locations, then this will be very easy for you to understand the straits and the water bodies that are getting connected by the straits, as well as if you've gone through the political map of North America, then you will be able to easily figure out which are the two land masses that are getting separated with the help of that strait. I hope you learned about these straits. These were some of the very important straits that you need to remember. This is for your sake. If you want to take a screenshot of this, I'll move away from the board. Please take a screenshot. Name of the strait, the separates which two land masses and connects which two water bodies. And these are some more straits as well. Hope you learned about the straits. If you want to take a screenshot of that, you can pause the video and take the screenshot of that as well. Clear? Now let's move to the next landform, or sorry, let's move to the next physical feature in the North American continent, that is the lakes. These are very important because you will find a lot of lakes in Canada. As you know, because in the past times, if you've gone through the geological time scale of the earth, you know, in the ice age, during the ice age, due to the scrubbing of the glaciers in this region, the lakes were created. You know about the Canadian Shield. If you don't know, we will learn about it when we learn the physical geography. In that period, there were the lakes that were created due to the scrubbing of the glaciers that moved over these regions, and very important lakes were created in this region. We'll learn about those lakes. First of all, starting with the Great Bear Lake in the northern part. You can see the Great Bear Lake, that is number 1. Number 2, Great Slave Lake. Bear Lake, Slave Lake. Third, Athabasca Lake. This is a river as well. You don't just ignore the river for some time. When we learn the rivers, I'll tell you the river there as well. This is a lake, the Athabasca Lake. So Bear Lake, Slave Lake, Athabasca Lake. You will find one more lake here, that is Reindeer Lake. Reindeer. That is the 4th lake. And number 5 and very important, Lake Winnipeg, located in the Winnipeg, in the province of Winnipeg. So 5 lakes, you need to remember the sequence from north to south. Bear Lake, Slave Lake, Athabasca Lake, Reindeer Lake, and finally Winnipeg. If you want a mnemonym for this, you can easily remember that a bear was made a slave and put in a bus, and then they met reindeer and Winnipeg in the way. Starting with the bear who was made a slave and then put a bus. So start from north, a bear, then made a slave, put in the bus, that's Athabasca Lake, then a reindeer and a Winnipeg at the last, that's at the southernmost part. So these are the 5 lakes, that's Bear Lake, Slave Lake, Athabasca Lake, then you will have reindeer and Winnipeg. These are the 5 very important lakes of Canada, and they will easily ask you such questions. I have seen such question asked in some state PCS. I don't exactly remember in which PSC it was asked, but it was asked somewhere where you were given these lakes and asked to mark the name of these lakes. So I hope you remember the sequence from north to south, starting from Bear Lake, Slave Lake, Athabasca Lake, Reindeer Lake, and Winnipeg. Now, coming to the great 5 lakes, 5 great lakes of North American continent. You might have heard of these lakes as well. These are very important lakes because most of them, in fact, these are 5 lakes, and 4 out of 5 lakes are situated along the border of America, that's United States of America and Canada. This is Canada, and on the colored side you will see is North America. Sorry, the United States of America. When you look at these lakes, first is Lake Superior. The dotted line or the white line that I'm drawing for you with the red pen is the border of United States of America and Canada. This line that I've drawn, the red line. If it is not clear because there are some more lines, then I'll just delete these lines and I'll use some other color so that you don't get confused. Just give me a second. Okay. Now, look at this black line. This is the border between United States of America and Canada. And all the lakes except Lake Michigan lies along this border. That means out of 5 lakes, 4 lakes lie along the border. That is, they are located in both United States of America as well as Canada. But Lake Michigan is exclusively located in United States of America. This is very important. You might get asked about this. Which of the following lakes or Great Lakes is exclusively in the United States? And the answer to that question is Lake Michigan. Now, let's talk of the lakes one by one. First of all, Lake Superior. This is the world's largest freshwater lake. Remember, what am I saying? Freshwater. Not the world's largest. Don't get confused between the world's largest freshwater lake and world's largest lake. World's largest lake, you tell me in the comments what is the name of that lake that's located in Asia. What is the name of the lake? Superior. Freshwater. What is the name of the largest lake? Caspian. Okay. Now, this is the world's largest freshwater lake, named as Lake Superior. Then you will find one more lake, that is Lake Huron. Lake Huron and Lake Superior are connected by a canal named as Sioux Canal. Okay, Sioux Channel. They're connected by a channel that is connecting these two, this region. It's named as Sioux, S-O-O. Okay, that's Lake Superior and Lake Huron. Connected, they are connected. Then you have one more lake, that is Lake Erie. Lake Erie, and finally Lake Ontario. Lake Ontario, if you can see here, is the smallest lake in the 5 Great Lakes. These are the 5 lakes, and finally you have Lake Michigan, that is entirely located in United States of America. Some important things that you need to know about this is there is a city named as Chicago that is located along Lake Michigan. Chicago is a very important city, as I already mentioned it when we were doing the political map of United States. This is Chicago city and it's located on Lake Michigan, number 1. And number 2, and a very important city is Detroit city, that is located along Lake Erie. Why is it again important? Because it's known as the hub of automobile industry. That is Detroit city. It is known for its automobile industry. It is one of the largest automobile sectors in the industries in the world. That is Detroit city, and it's located along Lake Erie. And finally you have Lake Ontario. There is a very famous river along this river that starts from here, that is St. Lawrence River. We learned about the Gulf of St. Lawrence in the previous class, and this river goes to that gulf, that is St. Lawrence Gulf, and this is one of the busiest rivers in this region as well. That is River St. Lawrence, starting from Lake Ontario. So these are the 5 lakes. If you need a mnemonym for these, H-O-M-E-S, Homes is the mnemonym for this if you don't remember the Great 5 Lakes. If you want to remember the sequence of the 5 lakes, then superheroes must eat oats. That's the sequence if you want to remember it in sequence. Okay, that is the sequence for you. I'll write it down for you. Superior, you can go for super. Just a second. Super. Then Huron, heroes. Then Michigan, must eat oats. That's the mnemonym. Holmes is very easy. If you don't remember that, then superheroes must eat oats. That is the sequence. Superheroes must eat oats. That is your grade 5 lakes. There is a very good chance you might get asked a question from these lakes as well, because they are very important as far as the political map, physical map of United States of America is concerned. Now coming to the deserts of United States and the North American continent. There are 4 to 5 very important deserts. If you look at this, first is Great Basin Desert, number 1. Number 2, you have Colorado Plateau, this is a plateau. Then you have Mojave Desert, Sonoran Desert, and Chihuahua Desert. Chihuahua Desert is the largest desert. Here, if it is visible, then you can see the area. This is the largest desert among the following, and it is a transnational desert. That is, I'll just draw it for you. See, focus here. This is the border of United States of America and Mexico. So this is the Mexico and this is United States of America. If you look at this Chihuahua Desert, this is a transboundary desert. It's located in United States as well as in Mexico. So this is located in 2 countries and it is the largest desert among the following. Then you have some of the deserts that are exclusively in the United States. You will have Great Basin Desert, then you have Mojave Desert and Sonoran Desert as well. These are some of the deserts that you need to remember. You can take a screenshot of this as well if you want, because these are the deserts. These are all just the 4 of them, and this is the area of the deserts, with Chihuahua Desert being the largest desert, followed by Great Basin Desert. So this desert is the largest, followed by this desert. I hope you remember the sequence. You just don't have to remember the exact area or the length of the deserts. What you need to know is the ascending and the descending order of the deserts, with this desert being the largest and this follows the Chihuahua Desert. Okay, this is about the deserts of United States of America. This was very brief. We finished it quickly. Now we come to the very important point of our lecture, in which we learn about the mountains of United States of America, Canada and Mexico. So we'll learn some of the peaks that are very important and some of the mountain ranges that are very important. First of all, this is the map of the North American continent. It might not be visible, so we will zoom it and then learn it. First, this is the Rockies mountain range, this range. This is the Rockies mountain range and it starts from Canada and goes up to Mexico. This is very important. Just remember, we saw a similar kind of a range in South American continent as well, and that was the largest, the longest range in the world. What is the name of that range? You tell me in the comments. I'm expecting your answer because this was a previous continent that we have gone through already. The longest range in the world in South American continent, that was also along the coast. If you are not able to remember, that was also along the coast, passing through 7 countries. Tell me in the comments what is the name of that range. Now this is the Rockies mountain. Now we'll zoom. First we'll learn about the northern peaks, some of the peaks that are important in the northern part of this continent, and then south. This is the northern part. First very important mountain range is the Brooks Range, located in Alaska. See, this is Alaska. I've demarcated the boundary for you here. This is Alaska, this range. Okay, Alaska belongs to United States and this is Canada. This area is Canada. So this is not connected to the mainland of United States, but it is a part of United States of America. And this is the Brooks Range, located in Alaska. Very important. Second important range is Alaska Range. So 2 very important ranges that you need to know about is Brooks Range and Alaska Range. And very important peak is Denali Peak. Denali Peak, why is it important? Because it is the highest peak in the United States or this region. This is the highest peak of America, that is Denali Peak. It is also known as McKinley. So this is also known as McKinley. Clear? That is Denali. It is the highest peak. Remember, you can be asked in the exam McKinley or Denali. It's one and the same thing, located in Alaska along the Alaskan range. These are the 2 mountain ranges that are very important in this region. Going to another mountain range, that is Mackenzie. Mackenzie, not Lee. McKinley is the highest that is located in Alaska. This is Mackenzie, Z. It starts with Z. Why? Because first L in the alphabetical order A, B, C, D, E, F, you will get first L, McKinley, then Mackenzie. Z will be at last. So this is Mackenzie, located in Canada. This is located in Alaska. Don't get confused. This is the Alaska and this is Canada. And you will have Mount Logan here. Very important, one of the highest peaks in this region. One of the highest, not the highest. Highest is Denali or Mount McKinley. This is about some of the very important peaks that we need to learn in Alaska and Canada. Now we'll move towards the southern peaks or the mountain ranges. The area that I already demarcated, this is Rockies. This is going all along the Canada and United States along, as well as Mexico. Now this is the mainland United States. We have some important peaks in this region as well, starting with the Mount Elbert. Mount Elbert is the highest peak in Rockies. Mount Elbert is the highest peak in Rockies. This is the Rockies mountain range. Don't get confused between these. Highest mountain peak in the Rockies is Mount Elbert. Highest peak of America is Mount McKinley or Denali. Now we have one more important mountain peak, that's Mount Whitney here. It is located in Cascade Range and you will see Sierra Nevada here. There is a mountain range known as Sierra Nevada and Mount Whitney is located in that. Mount Whitney is the highest peak in mainland US. Okay, mainland America, you will find Mount Whitney as the highest peak. Just that you might get confused because of all the highest peaks and all. I'll just write it down for you. Mount McKinley is the overall highest. It is the highest in America. This is the highest in entire America. Then we have Mount Whitney. Okay, Mount Whitney is the highest in mainland US. In mainland US. Clear? And then we have Mount Elbert. Mount Elbert. Mount Elbert is the highest in the Rockies. It is highest in the Rockies. So don't get confused between these three. One is the highest overall, one is highest in the mainland, and one is the highest in the Rockies. These are some of the very important peaks that you need to know here. Then there is one more mountain range, that is Appalachians. Appalachians is located on the eastern part. Right, up until now we were learning about the peaks that were mostly restricted towards the western part of the continent, but Appalachians is located on the eastern side or the southeastern side, and Rockies were an example of fold mountains. What are the fold mountains? You might be aware that fold mountains are due to the convergence of plates, and these are the fold mountains. We have Andes and Himalayas. They are also the example of fold mountains. You should know which of the following are fold mountains, which are not. Then we have Appalachians. These are old residual mountains. Okay, these are the old residual mountains. Examples: Aravallis in India. We have Drakensberg in South Africa that we learned in the previous lectures as well. So Appalachians is the old residual mountain, whereas Rocky is a fold mountain. So these are some of the very important peaks that are located in this region. I hope you learned about very important peaks that are located in North American continent, and you don't have confusion about which is highest and which is the highest in US and highest of the Rockies. Now we will learn about some of the rivers of United States, Canada, Mexico, and these are very important rivers, starting with the very first, that is river Yukon here. This is river Yukon that flows through two important mountain ranges that I already mentioned. You tell me the name of this mountain range and this mountain range. What is the name of these two mountain ranges I just mentioned? So tell me in the comments what is the name of these two mountain ranges. It's very easy, you can tell me that. This is river Yukon that flows through these two regions and then drains into, empties into Bering Strait. You know, here this is called as the Bering Strait, and Bering Strait is the one that separates American continent from Asia. On this side you see it's mentioned as Asia. This is the part of Russia. So you will find Russia and the America or United States, because this is Alaska, separated by Bering Strait, and Yukon River empties itself into this Bering Strait. That is the first and very important river, that is Yukon River. Then you will have Mackenzie River here. This is Mackenzie River. It is the longest in Canada. It flows through Canada and drains into Beaufort Sea. This is the Beaufort Sea, and it drains itself in Beaufort Sea. Clear? That is river Mackenzie. Then we have one more important river, that is river Fraser, and it joins Vancouver. If you know about the map, you will find Vancouver at this region, and Fraser River will go through and drain into Vancouver, along the Vancouver, drain through Vancouver into this region. This is Pacific Ocean. For your information, this is Pacific Ocean. Then we have one more important river here, that is Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan River, it is not shown here, I'm drawing it for you, drains into Lake Winnipeg. If you know about the 5 lakes that I have already told you, Lake Winnipeg is here, and Saskatchewan will drain into Winnipeg. Then we have one more important river, that is River Columbia. This is River Columbia. Again, this is very important. Why? Because it is a transboundary river. It flows from Canada, then into US, and finally into Pacific. So you should know where it flows into, in which continent, in which sea or ocean or lake it empties itself. So it empties itself into, just a second guys. Okay, all good. So this is called Columbia River, and it flows into Pacific. Again, very important. I am only telling you the important things of the physical features of North America. Then we have River Colorado here along this region in United States. River Colorado. Don't get confused between Columbia and Colorado. Colombia is a country as well that's located somewhere else, that's not here. So don't mix up the things. This is River Colorado, and it flows through US and drains into this is the California, Strait of California. You know about this, no? This is Baja Peninsula. I've already mentioned these things in the previous class. This is Baja Peninsula, then California, Gulf of California, and Colorado will drain into Gulf of California, and there is very important one more, Grand Canyon. You might have heard of it, the Grand Canyons that are located along this river, that is River Colorado. Then one more important river, that is Missouri and Mississippi. Okay, then they join and drain into Gulf of Mexico. These are this is the longest river system in United States, that is Missouri and Mississippi. If exclusively talking about which is the longest, then of course it is Missouri. You can see Missouri starts from here. So Missouri is the longest, but this is considered as the longest river system in United States. That is Missouri and Mississippi. Then it will travel along this region and drain into Gulf of Mexico. While it drains in the Gulf of Mexico, you will find there it forms a bird foot delta. What is a bird foot delta? It will be something like this, like a bird foot. Okay, it will form something like that when it will drain into Gulf of Mexico. That is Missouri and Mississippi. Then one very important river, that is Rio Grande. Why is it that important? See, I'll tell you why it is that important. If you look at this river, this is River Rio Grande, because you can see it forms a border between United States and Mexico. It is forming a border between United States and Mexico. That is why you can see that Rio Grande is very important. There are some more rivers like St. Lawrence River, as I already told you. It starts from a lake that's one among the 5 Great Lakes. Tell me in the comments that I just mentioned, what is the name of this lake from where St. Lawrence River starts and then goes into Gulf of St. Lawrence, and this is considered as the busiest river in this region. So I hope you learned about the rivers as well. So if you have any confusion, you can ask me in the comments. And if you're preparing for UPSC, then Unacademy's got a great offer for you. and it's got a scholarship for you that's going to be conducted on 10th. If you apply for that on the link that's given in the description, you can get a chance to win up to 50 crore worth of scholarship and rewards, and you can get many other things like Border Gavaskar Trophy, free pass, and some family trips as well. So do join an academy where you can get all the courses for just 24,999, where you'll get the mentorship from top educators as well. If you want further discount, you can use my code, that is A, T and F. That's my code. Use it and you will get further discount as well. So see you next time. Till then, bye bye. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comments, by the way. And if you did like my lecture, then like my video and subscribe to our channel. Okay, bye.